So there's just what's appearing to happen. There's just energy. So now there's sitting on a seat and there's the sound of a microphone. Um, there's a window and there's trees and there's computer screen and there's just what appears to happen always just the immediacy of what appears to be, which is nothing being everything. That's it's not describable in words, it's not knowable or understandable, and it's extremely simple and ordinary and obvious. And what's being shared here is that sense of feeling that there's not just what's happening, there's me, and then there's what's happening, is artificial. And that when you feel like there's you and there's what's appearing to happen, so there's the world and there's me in the world and there's me negotiating through the world, interacting and moving through the world, that's a very dissatisfying perception. That perception is very, very dissatisfactory and limited and imprisoning, and there can be an open sensitivity to that there's something not quite right with that perception of me and the world, that there's something other than that. And this is what this communication is an invitation, a description of another possible way of seeing, not for anybody, but another possibility. And the possibility is that sense you had of being a person, of being a separate person in the world, was always a story. And it never was real. It was real in its appearance. It feels absolutely real. It feels that there really is a you or me, and a world in which you are negotiating, relating, and moving through. The when you always feel like that, when there is that sense that there is a you, what's yearned for is only whatever is appearing to be already. So when you feel like a person, you feel that there's something is yearned for, that it's a something, or it's a some place, or it's a state, or it's an experience, and there's this striving to get somewhere always, no matter what that goal is, whether it's meditation, or it's a state of enlightenment, or it's making a lot of money, or having a lot of experiences, or whatever. That's inherent in that sense of being a person, is a striving to get somewhere and get something, and it's always not quite what appears to be. It's always around the next corner. So you feel you get there, and then that's not quite this. It's around the next corner. And what's being suggested here is that actually it's not around the next corner. There is no next corner. There's only just what appears to be happening. There's only just energy. That's all. There's only energy. There only ever has been energy. And energy is nothing being everything. And it's completely, totally and utterly beyond understanding. It's beyond the mind completely. The understanding that we are so familiar with is simply an aspect of feeling separate. It's a feature. It's an aspect of you being a person, is that you live in a closed loop of understanding and knowing, which you think is terribly important, and to you it is important. And that loop of knowing is artificial. It's what's actually, what is and isn't, what everything and nothing is completely beyond understanding and knowing. The natural state, the not state, but the natural way of things is completely unknowable. It's totally, immediately just is. It's an isness, which includes isn't. It's not knowable. It's not obtainable. It's simply whatever appears to be already. So this is what's shared from nothing, and it's concerned with a resonance. It's an energetic resonance to what's being shared here. it's not about getting anything, because if it's nothing to do with understanding or knowing, then obviously there's nothing you can get. Um, and yeah, if a question arises, then it's there to be asked, or a comment. You can't go wrong with this, and you can't go right. Uh, it's just all it's totally energetic, and it can resonate. And does. William, you're straight out the gap again.
Hi, Kenneth.
How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. And you?
Good.
I don't have anything left to ask that I haven't already asked, but I just still feel an impulse like I need to talk to you about this.
Okay.
When I'm listening to the introduction, it is undeniable what you're saying, and the resonance feels so strong. And at the same time, there's just absolute agony about the idea, not that anyone could, but the idea of like the me collapsing or letting go of the identity. It's so sort of like tightly held on to the sense of being someone, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean and that's the wonderful thing, is that there's just what's appearing to happen. There's nobody there who needs to do anything. There's nobody there to let go of anything, or needs to not hold on to anything. There's nobody there already. There's just already just nothing being everything. So what's yearned for is always just whatever appears to happen, be that wonder or agony or whatever. It's very simple.
And that strong, like energetic sort of impulse to talk or ask a question, or that's just the seeking energy trying to resolve the dilemma of feeling separate, would you say?
I mean, that's just a story as well. Like, there's literally just talking now. There's just words. There's nobody talking. There's nothing. This is nothing appearing to happen. So there's sounds. There's talking. There's sitting on a chair. There's sensations in the body. There might be thoughts. Whatever. There's only whatever appears to happen. That's all. I mean, you saying that, oh, okay, the impulse to ask a question there means that I'm there trying to get something. It's still just more story, story, story. There's just nodding the head and sitting on a couch and looking at a screen, and whatever seems to happen.
Yeah, and even while you're talking, I can hear myself saying, I need to see what he's saying. I need to see it that way. But you've already said it's beyond understanding. So there's no point in me trying to agree or act or.
No, agreeing with what's said is irrelevant. Like, it doesn't. This is not a concept that is being presented to people for people to kind of subscribe to. Like, this is some way of life that you can live without feeling like a me, and this is what you need to do. It's just a sharing. It's just a description, and it's heard and it's heard. So someone thinks it's bullshit, then that's what's happening. It's bullshit. And someone thinks it resonates, then that's what's happening. There's no agenda. It's totally agendaless. Of course it is. Has to be.
Yeah, but I suppose because the person feels like it's coming from an agenda, I'm projecting that onto this, like kind of speaking for a reason. He wants me to see it, but yeah.
See, that's the crux of it. Is Kenneth doesn't want you to do anything, because Kenneth doesn't see you. Kenneth just sees. Kenneth doesn't even see. It's just that there's just nothing being everything, which is nothing peopling, nothing. That's unconditional love. To be seen not as a person, but to be seen as nothing, which is everything, is unconditional love. As opposed to someone speaking to you and seeing you as a person who can get somewhere, who they're trying to help, mostly sincerely trying to help get somewhere. It's totally different.
Thank you.
Thanks. So things like shame, guilt, and regret aren't real because nothing could ever be any different. Shame, guilt, and regret are aspects of feeling like a person. Certainly, they're aspects of feeling like a separate individual who feels that they are the author, they are the CEO of their life. They are in control. They have a life and they're in control of that life. And therefore they have responsibility for what they did or didn't do, and they therefore feel a sense of shame over some things, pride over others, and guilt and so on. The remarkable scene is that you're being done. That you've never done anything because you're not there to do anything. It's absolutely incredible. There's just what appears to be happening. That's all. It's very simple, it's very obvious, it's very ordinary. And things could only be different in the mind of the person who thinks they could be different. So there's what appears to happen, and it's nothing being everything. It's nothing appearing to happen. And for the apparent person, they think if I had done A instead of B, then this would have been different and life would be different, which is really, even if you think about it, is literally just a thought. It's just an idea. Hi, Igor.
Hello.
Hiya.
So I don't really have any like real questions because it's obvious that as soon as you say that I don't exist, it's clear that all of my questions are about me. And
Yeah.
like, what else to ask if I don't exist? Like, I mean, I can ask you something about prices of coffee or like something else.
It doesn't matter.
Those
Like
are going.
it really doesn't matter. The questions are of it's all energetic. So if someone has a question, and if that question appears to be coming from a sense of that they are a person and they have control, that's perfect. That's totally fine. That's just what's appearing to happen. And if there's no questions, then that's what's appearing to happen. It doesn't matter. Like, not having questions isn't somehow better than having questions or any of that. It's just whatever appears. If there's a question, it's there to be asked. Really, you know what I mean?
So I just.
But there's it's common for people just to link in and just not really have questions, just to want to talk or say something.
Yeah. I kind of just wanted to talk. I mean, whatever. It just like, otherwise it's just too much like a YouTube video. There should be a difference. But I mean, it's amazing because there is not so much difference between hearing you on YouTube and hearing you on Zoom. Because the only difference is that the mental commentary that I have, I'm now saying out loud.
Okay, I have it.
But I mean, I guess this is a silly question, but do you think like it's possible that there is like oneness and like everyone is one and it's all like one thing, but like Igor is he's separate, you know? like it's oneness for everyone but me, you know? Maybe I'm special some kind of.
Yeah, I think maybe you are. I think you could have hit on something there. I think there could be oneness, and they forgot to invite Igor into the oneness. They just forgot to invite you to the party. I did hear about you, Igor, actually. I did hear about you, that you're the one they left out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So everyone else on this Zoom is nothing but everything, but you're the one individual.
Oh, finally!
You're the special one.
That was the missing part. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I did hear. I'm glad you joined so we could clarify that.
Oh, yeah. So finally oneness. I mean, who could have thought? Just a silly mistake.
Yeah. They were bound to forget somebody, I suppose. It's a tough job to include everybody.
Yeah, it's stupid. No, like really, this whole thing. I mean, this whole thing. The more I listen to this whole thing, is that the less sense it has. Like, it's just like this whole discussion of like me or not me, or like everything or like nothing or whatever. It's just like it's also just like meaningless concepts now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
It is totally. Everything is completely meaningless. Absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. We as a person, we think life has meaning and purpose, and all of that. And actually, it's completely without purpose or meaning, or that's something that the person lays onto it. It doesn't need any meaning or purpose, or it's boundless and nothing being everything. It's indescribable, stunning.
Yeah, somehow, but somehow, whatever, like when I hear it and it's all right, but when I look somewhere, like I look at my chair, for example, there is this like this strong sense of like chair being other than me, and this sense like a background of fear. Like I basically I'm afraid of a chair. How, like, you know, how stupid is this? Like, I mean, it's not even. I mean, it's a nice chair. What's there to be afraid of? So,
well,
like,
what I would say is then there's whatever is appearing to happen there is that there's a there's a sensitivity to this kind of sense that there's me and an object, this subject object kind of play that is at the heart of that's what the person is the person is the subject. Apparently they feel like the subject and everything else is an object. So that's why the person has this really lived feeling of living in the real. They live in the real and they see the chair, they see the tree, they see the person, because they feel that there's me and the tree and the person. It's a subject and object. So from what you're saying there, it sounds there's a sensitivity to that. Okay, there's the chair and I'm looking at the chair, and there's a kind of an energy about that in which fear appears to arise. So the fear is already it then. It's just, you don't have to put a story on it, or you don't have to understand it or figure it out, or it's just that the fear is appearing to happen, and the fear is it. Whereas the person would feel, the apparent person would feel, oh, there's fear, and now I need to be in some sort of place where fear doesn't arise, and there's just the chair, there's just life chairing, or some other kind of non-dual concept around it. So that I just want there just to be chairing instead of me looking at the chair. And that's just another idea. It's just fear. That's what appears to be happening. It's always, always, always just whatever appears to happen. Because the person continually rejects what appears to happen in favor of what might be, and pulls in pleasure and comfort and pushes away pain and discomfort.
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, what I just thought is that fear is not like separation. Like, I mean, fear is just fear.
Yeah, exactly. Fear is just fear. I mean, fear.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Like the person could start this whole narrative around, okay, for fear arises. So that's the individual who's feeling fear because of a sense of there being a separateness between me and the chair, and all this kind of layers of story. And actually, it's just fear. What's wrong with fear? Fear is just fear, and it is fear. It's everything that's the nub of what's being shared here. It's everything that appears to be, whereas the apparent person is almost continually rejecting what appears to be in favor of what might be, and it's not quite this and it's not quite that, and kind of taking little bits and pushing away. But the incredible realization for nobody is it is pain, it is discomfort, it is confusion, and that's the freedom. Then the freedom for nobody is that whatever appears to arise is nothing being everything, is complete unconditional love.
Yeah, that makes sense, because like this whole like not being separate is a strange idea, because I can't find a boundary anywhere. Like if I'm separate, there need to be something that I can touch or feel, or somehow taste the separation, but I can't find it anywhere. together with myself, really.
Yeah, that's because you're already not there. That's the big joke about this. That's the big divine comedy of the whole thing, is you're already not there because you never even started, because the sense of feeling like a person was always artificial anyway. And that's the big joke, is that when it's seen that what was looked for was simply just already what already was. And then that's the joke, is like I was chasing my tail around looking for just, it never left me.
Yeah, that's it's like I always getting a sense of it, like sometimes, or like, you know, when you talk, or like sometimes someone mentions something like, this is everything, for example, like someone told me, and I was like, yeah, I mean, this is really everything, and like like there's nothing else.
Yeah, this is everything. Yeah, there's no boundary on anything. But I mean, again, it's all back to, it's energetic. You see, like people could say this is everything all day long, you know, and you hear, okay, but unless it's not about a concept, it's not about understanding. Like there are people who understand that this is everything. This isn't like a room in a country, you know, in some part of the globe, that actually everything is completely boundless and borderless, and it's one energy. So that therefore this is already everything, is just what appears. This is already everything, and everything is nothing. And there's people who know that, but it's not about knowing that at all. It's not knowing that, makes no difference. This is really an energetic, it's an energy.
Yeah, sometimes like it sucks in somewhere deeper than just words, but sometimes it's just words.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's fair enough. Yeah.
But it's like sometimes I'm getting scent of it, and it's like it's this scent. It's like, you know, like there was a cartoon with the squirrels who were saving the world, you know, and there was this. Oh, I don't know. No, okay, it's a cultural reference. It will not work. But anyway, so it's like scent, and it's irresistible in some sense. Like it's, you know, like you can't stop, but it's like you're getting it, and then like it's not there. Say, because for example, I heard like, this is everything the first time, and it was like, yeah, that's it. But then the next time I heard it, it was like, yeah, I mean, so what?
Oh, totally. Yeah, because it's not, you see, it's not graspable. It's not graspable or knowable or understandable or attainable. Like if someone feels that they understand and know what's being shared here, then it's not what's being shared here. It's not what's being pointed towards. Because once you think you know it or you have it, you're somehow in it, or it's completely beyond understanding, totally and utterly beyond any knowing or understanding, and is just indescribably simple and ordinary, and just already just whatever appears to be, nothing being everything.
Yeah. I need to get it, really.
Yeah.
And this is like, because
well, you need to get it if you want to get back in. I mean, you're the one that they forgot to invite into oneness, so I'd say that's probably the one condition, is you need to get it and then do some sort of test, and then they let you back in.
Yeah, where do I get my certificate of oneness?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I'm not going to take my whole evening, but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to hear from you.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, Victoria.
Hi. There are any feelings or no?
Feelings appear to happen. Yeah, feelings are just something that appears to happen, but they're not my feelings. Whereas when you feel like a person, you feel like they're your feelings. But I've, feelings, thoughts, sensations, all the stuff that, it's just energy. It just appears. Yeah.
Okay, because I had an argument with Jim, so he didn't understand what I want to say, but I said no person behind this feeling. So I don't like if someone speaking, I spoke with Jim or Naho or something, but I have to tell you something now.
Okay.
Because we spoke about religions and Maharishi or something, I don't remember. And he said, it's not possible to get not getting freedom, but I don't know how was the sentence, so I know nothing to get, so not possible in this way to get anything, because this is definitely another energy or something. Is that true or no?
I can't really comment on. I don't know what he said. I didn't hear directly what he said, so I prefer not to comment on it. Really, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I
Because
don't really talk like when people say that this person said this in this. I've no interest.
No. You answered when I asked Muji.
Okay.
Can Muji is ashram, a lot of person become free or something like this, and you said apparently or something, or can happen, or I don't know what you said exactly, but something like this. But you didn't say it's not possible or something.
Okay. There's just what appears to happen. So there's just energy, which is nothing being everything, and that appears as things like religions, spirituality, all sorts of other endeavors, more kind of modern psychotherapeutic kind of ways of being, and there's nothing that's right or nothing that's wrong with any of them, and they're all just a play of light. They're all just a story. That's all they are. So if someone felt that they were on some sort of path through some sort of religious devotion, spiritual devotion, or kind of self-developmental kind of hodgepodge of psychotherapy, stroke cold water therapy, stroke psilocybin sort of thing, that's what's appearing to happen. And if they feel then that it's going to get them somewhere, then it's all within the story. But there's no rules to this. So someone could be a devout follower of somebody and then wake up one morning apparently and then not feel there anymore. They're just not there anymore. It could happen. There's no rules to this. But it wouldn't have been nothing that seems to precede it.
I'm thinking the same thing, actually.
Nothing that seems to precede it is of any relevance, because there is no before or after. So the difficulty with something like that would be that they would feel that commonly they would feel that what they did brought about a sense of oneness, or them not being there anymore. And that's logical and understandable. But it wouldn't have anything to do with it. And it's more likely that being on that kind of path, it does reinforce the sense that you're a person who has choice. There is somewhere to get, and if you keep doing this, you'll get there. So in that way, all of these things tend to be kind of teachings of imprisonment. But that's not to say that there's anything right or wrong with them. They're just a play of light, and they're just what appears to be happening. And actually it can't be any different either. It can't be any different.
Yeah, I just asked because I saw in India two very old women be traveling together on train or something, and they was definitely free. Actually, 90 years old girl, and they had deities, and they offering the meal, and actually they live on rice and tomatoes, and it's, I swear they was free. So
but everything is already free, because there is only freedom.
I know, but you know, this is the religious things or something.
Oh yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. Like if there's plenty of characters that are still kind of seem to be in some sort of spiritual thing, and they don't really feel like people, but they don't really, and they don't put any importance in any of the endeavors they're doing, but there is a different energy, because they don't have a kind of they don't seem to come with an agenda, but that's just what's appearing to happen.
Yeah,
it's just what's appearing to happen. I mean, there's nobody that isn't free, because there's nobody that isn't nobody. there is only nothing already being everything, whatever the flavor of that appears to be. It doesn't matter.
Actually, I said to Jim, I love sex so much.
Yeah.
But he heard I love sex so much.
Yeah.
So it was totally misunderstanding the 3 days. So
yeah.
It was very funny. Everything was very funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Kenneth.
And the other thing I always say this is, there's characters that are that there's a communication appears to be coming from, but it's nothing to do with the character. It's completely impersonal. It's irrelevant, and there's no Zoom meeting. There's no residential. There's nothing to get. There's what's yearned for is always just simply what appears to be happening. This isn't any more significant than having a cup of tea, watching TV. I mean, it's inescapable. What's yearned for is inescapable. It's completely indescribable. All that happens here is just a pointing description, and that resonates. Then that can if there's an openness, that resonates.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Kenneth. Not quite sure the question, but I feel like there's 1 foot in this and 1 foot out, and
1 foot in the grave.
Yeah, and living in no man's land, and daily life has become extremely difficult. Like nothing gets done. Everything's disorganized, and decision making has become almost impossible. And when decisions are made, the next day or the next minute, another me pops up and says, well, what did you do that for? It's like, yeah, there's no me, but decisions are made.
Yeah, decisions appear to be made, yeah.
Decisions appear to be made, and then there's a me pops up and is very dissatisfied with that decision, and it's I don't know. It seems like chaos at the moment.
That's what's appearing to happen then.
Yeah. Go and read a book, I suppose.
Reading a book might happen. Speaking on a Zoom might happen. Might appear to happen. There's just what appears to happen, which is nothing being everything. Nothing is everything. Everything is nothing. All boundless, unconditional, unknowable, unattainable, unlosable. You can't lose it. What's yearned for is always just whatever appears.
Yeah, I guess the agony over decision making and right or wrong decision making is revolves around sense of loss.
Yeah, it's something
loss
that happens with the person. Yeah, the person has a really lived feeling that they're real and that the world is real, that they are living in, and that they are doing things, and they can do the right thing or the wrong thing, and they're making decisions. And then there's this that's a a looped feeling of this continual kind of narrative of that was the wrong thing, and what I do here, and it's all that was the wrong thing. It's just feeding a sense of contracted sense of unworthiness that we have as people. It's all a story, it's all a dream. It feels completely real.
And a lot of it is like I said, it's around the sense of loss and gain and loss.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's what the character's been used to, is gain and not loss. And
yeah,
if there's just oneness, there can't be any gain or loss.
No, this really, what's being shared now is total. It involves total loss, complete total loss of everything, all ideas, concepts. There's nothing. You don't have anything, because you are nothing. You don't have anything, which is often the first thing that can be seen. Is everything is completely empty, totally empty, and when you feel like a person, that can be very unnerving. And the sense of being a person finds that very unnerving, and then it's explosive, the explosiveness of nothing being everything. It's just beyond description. I mean, this is, nobody has anything, nobody ever has had anything. There's just energy.
Yeah, the me feels like it's got a bank account and it's very afraid of losing it.
Yeah. The me gathers in, constantly gathering in material things, experiences, states of mind, narrative stories, social, recognition, all of these little things constantly feeding on the story of this sense of trying to fill this sense of me. And the big joke is that it's not there. It's totally empty. And so no matter how much they try and add to it, the invitation is always there to see that there's nothing to add to. You can imagine, like, the me is trying to, there's a sense that everything has been lost, that wholeness has been lost, because there's the world and there's me in the world. So there's this kind of little me. So it's like the person's effort to gain wholeness is to expand this me into everything, constantly get more and more, and have that sense of security, and fearing their own absence more than anything, and yearning for their own absence more than anything. It's a big paradox. The more you have in the story, the more you have to lose, the more you're afraid of losing it, the more you're afraid of your own absence, which is the one thing that's shouting at you all the time. You're not there, you never have been. There's just what's appearing to happen. There's just talking, sitting on a chair. It's just energy.
The fear
is also what's appearing to happen. And there's fear. What's wrong with fear?
Fear of losing everything, including one's life.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah, the fear of losing your life when you don't have a life to lose. How could you have a life? Like, who has ever had a life? How can you have a life? That's the way that's the way that it is portrayed, and the way that is that is the accepted reality, that you have a life. Not that you are life, that you are, that you're a verb. You're not a verb, you're a noun. You are a person and you have a life. And you got to make something with it. You got to do something with it. You got to be somebody. You got to get recognition from people that you're a good person, an important person, a powerful person. There's all of these, we seep all of this up from when we're little children, and we primarily take on the expectations of our parents, and then the wider group to that, and then this narrative builds up about who we are, and it's very dissatisfying. It's very, there's a constant invitation to see that it's completely empty, and it's completely empty because there is no you. There never has been, never ever has been. So it's not, we're not, this isn't being shared that, oh, this can resonate and you can then not be a person and just that there'll be everything. You're not going to fall away because you're not there to fall away, because there's just whatever's appearing to happen. So if there's fear happening, that's what's appearing to happen. Fear. And then the struggle just totally collapses then, because there's nobody to push away the fear. There's nobody to push away the pain. There's nobody to push away the confusion, because there's confusion, there's pain, there's discomfort. That's just what's appearing to happen. And then that's the fullness that's being sung of here, as opposed to the dualistic drive to pull in pleasure and push away pain, and live in that half alive reality.
Just wondering why it's become constant.
Nothing has become constant. It's just, that's part of the story, that it's become constant. The narrative there now is that it's become constant. It's just a story.
Fear.
It's just a story. Like there's nothing in the story that's going to break out of the story. There's nothing in that story. It's just, but the individual feels that it's all. The only thing that's of any importance is the story. That's the only thing that's of any importance at all. And if there's something in the story that can resolve the story. So that's the closed loop of me just going around and round and round and round and round and round. Apparently.
Which makes it appear constant.
Yeah, it just appears to be constant. It appears to be that there's a constant me that has to maybe fall away someday. Yeah,
a constant me and a constant agony.
It's a lived reality for the person, for the individual. It's a lived feeling of being a separate person. It's not an idea or a concept. There's a lived feeling of feeling like I'm in here. This is me. This is my hand. I'm in this skin. I'm looking out on the world. There's an embodied, contracted, lived feeling of feeling like a person, and all of these concepts can be taken on. About, say, non-duality or different things, and they make no difference whatsoever. It's just someone who then believes that they're not a person, or believes that they're not separate, or knows that there couldn't be separation, or knows that nothing can exist in and of itself, and knows all of this stuff. And that's just, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No, this is completely beyond knowing. When there's a lived feeling of being separate, that's what's appearing to happen. And this resonates or it doesn't. Or there can be a lived feeling of being separate, and also this can totally resonate simultaneously. And it plays out like it plays out. That's the beauty of it, because if it would be a completely different message if I felt like a person who saw another person, or felt like they were talking to another person now, and felt that they wanted to get them somewhere that had no agony, had no pain, had no discomfort. That's what the world is full of, is, I hear what you're saying. It's terrible. I was there before. I used to be in a similar place to where you were. And what you need to do is do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, put a lot of hard work in, and you'll get to where I am. That's generally what we're dealing with in the world. And that's what's different about this is there's only whatever is, you are not recognized as being anything but unconditional love, as anything but nothing being everything, as anything but whole already, which is totally, it is completely seen. It can be instantly, people can sense it straight away, that they're not being spoken to, that they're not being addressed, that they're not being offered anything. And that is an amazing energy. It's stunning, and it's also extremely confronting simultaneously, because if that energy that feels like a person is desperate to be heard, desperate to be fed, desperate to be acknowledged, and so therefore generally this is terrible message, and people do not want to hear it, and people find it very confronting and difficult.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Hi, Tom.
Hi. My first time on this meeting. I don't have question. You kill every question every 5 minutes. So I just want to express how I enjoy your talk, and it's honey for my ears.
Honey for my ears.
It's just I cannot express it.
I know I cannot express it either, Tom. It's stunning. Yeah, it's inexpressible actually. It's amazing. It's not,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, Yuan.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you keep referring to sorry, to the story. And I was just wondering if you could clarify what you mean.
When I say the story, I refer to the apparent person, the individual. So the person, people generally in life feel like they are a person who has a life and has control of their life. And what's been suggested here is that sense of being an individual person is an appearance. It's not real. It feels real. When I say the story, I mean the individual as well. It's interchangeable.
Okay. So
yeah.
So when that sense goes away, or that feeling goes away, there's no more story. Like for example, there's no more story of Kenneth and his family and his job, and
I guess there's no more sense that there is a real person called Kenneth who has anything, as opposed to a person who feels like they are a real person who has things, who has family, who has a job, who does things, etc. So the difference is indescribable, and also paradoxically no difference at all, because in the same way that what you yearn for is already the case, it's already just this. So when you feel like it's your life and you have a life, and that you have a family and you have a wife or you have a husband or you have what's being suggested is that feels completely real, that you feel real, the world is real. And that's what's being said, is that what feels absolutely real to you as an individual is a story. It's nothing appearing to happen as opposed to something real that's actually happening. That's as clear kind of I think that's about as clear a differentiation I can make. Kind of.
Yeah. Right. Also, you're talking about like this yearning of not wanting to be there, in a sense, like the end, like longing for the end of me.
Well,
and also feeling the end of me. Like I feel like really, like it's strange because I feel really strongly that's like what I'm really looking for is not to be there anymore. Just like this, well, it's always around the corner, like you say, like this this wanting to for it to be to arrive, in a sense, to arrive and to get home. But in a sense, it's like recognizing also that arriving and being home is not being me anymore, or just the end of me.
Yeah, yeah. So you're never not home, actually, because there is only just wholeness already. And what's yearned for is not being me. Like that, I think I said it earlier. What we yearn for is, I can't remember who that quote is. That's actually a quote from, I'm not sure who said it, but it captured it really well. Is that what we yearn for most is, or sorry, what we fear most is our own absence, and what we yearn for most is our own absence, actually. So we're all actually yearning for our own absence, either, no matter what, all the time we feel like a person, even if we don't, we're not aware of any, we feel like we're yearning for something else.
Yeah.
That's actually what's yearned for. And what's being shared here is that you're already not there. So your absence is already the case. There's literally just talking, there's just words there, looking at a screen, maybe sensations happening, everything that appears to be happening is just energy. That's all it is. So it's already the case that there is no Johan.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's awesome at the same time.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning.
It's just like, so I feel like this is just so out of reach, because it's like too close in a sense to be reached.
Yeah, it's a nice way of saying it, actually. Yeah, it is out of reach. Yeah,
but in a sense,
it is too close as well. That's a good way of saying it, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know, like sometimes it's just like I find it beautiful in this way, because like all my life, like I've been just like reaching and getting things and trying to keep them and hoard things, and like to have this intuition that is just not graspable or havable, or it just feels like a relief in a way. Like it feels like it's beautiful.
It is. It's stunning. Yeah. It's too obvious and ordinary and open. That's the difficulty with it, because it's already the case that there's only wholeness. It's already the case that there's just nothing being everything. So what's yearned for is already the case. What an ingenious way to appear to hide. And it is too close, because that's the way it's too close. It's because it's immediacy of it is, it's just immediately just whatever appears to be. And then the person that feels separate is lost looking for something else all the time, around the next corner, something else all the time. Whereas it's just it's appearing to hide by already being everything. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thanks. Lovely to hear from you.
Yeah.
Can you, Andy says, can you speak about intuition? Right. Maybe because it's more in the body and not in the head. Yeah, it's as a person, we tend to kind of live in our much more in our minds, and feel that because that sense of being separate is that everything is knowable, then knowledge is king, really, and we live in a closed loop of knowing and understanding that keeps us safe from a world that we feel is outside of us. We therefore then put a huge emphasis on understanding and knowing, whereas intuition is not necessarily, thinking is only one aspect of intuition. And the recent kind of research on the microbiome and the gut and stuff is quite interesting in that regard. So to show that neurologically you have more going on in your gut than probably your brain, and actually interestingly the messages are coming from the gut to the brain, rather than they always thought because the brain was king, top dog, was sending everything to everywhere else. And it's just a nice little kind of illustration of how intuitively we felt that things were a certain way. We'd get an energetic sense of things, and we refer to it as our gut feeling. And actually that was very accurate, in that there's more kind of going on down there than just this sense that everything is linear and logical and knowable, because actually life is not linear and logical, and only in the story it appears to be sometimes, but it's illogical, not linear, and mad. Completely wild and boundless and free. And I think that that intuition can kind of be dampened down by a contracted sense of being a person to a certain degree. And maybe not. You could still feel like a person and still feel that you kind of are more in tune intuitively what appears to be happening. That's fine, It's not that the sense of being a person will drop away and that intuition will just rocket through the roof. But yeah, it's that sense of being a person, that everything is knowable, and that you have a life and you're living in a linear motion, forward motion, that there's past, you're in the present, and you're moving into the future, and it's all a dream. There's no linear anything. There's no past, there's no present, there's no future. There's nothing being everything, which is unknowable. So I'm probably going to finish up now. Just so people are aware, if you wish to contribute, there's in the chat I have a link to PayPal. And also just this weekend, most people probably know it, the virtual retreat is happening Saturday and Sunday. I think it's 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock GMT +1, so that's London time, London England time, Dublin Ireland time, and it's with Emerson. So Emerson is the host, and it's just amazing, really. I can't say enough about it, really. It's just, I can't convey how amazing it is. No, it is what it is, and if you want to attend, you're welcome. And I think you're already, if you're here, you're probably on my email list, so I'll probably send an email in the next day or two. A few people have signed up, so thanks. So that's it, really. It's just whatever's appearing to happen. It's very simple. It's not about a Zoom or virtual retreat, or there's no non-duality. There's just what's appearing to happen. Nothing being everything. It's inescapable. Thank you.
Thanks, Kenneth.
Thanks, Kenneth.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kenneth.
Thanks.
Thank you. Love you, love you, love you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Thanks.